Thank you.
Welcome to the Board of Education regular meeting, December 19th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Wallace Central Office Building. Welcome and roll call. All board members are present. 2, approval of the agenda.
I would move for approval, please.
Can I have a second? Becky moved, John second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Moving on to 3, student recognition and principal report, Mr. Matthew Level.
All right. So we'll recognize our students in MSTLT State. So make sure I got everybody here. If you want to stand up, kind of walk up front here, that'd be great. Hold on, let me call your name first. All right. Maya Mittendorf. Very first one. Leah Reed. Cash O'Connor. Scotty Rainwater. Nova. Grace Davis. Georgia Moorhead. All right. So if any of you want to talk about your
Yes, we're dying to know.
I know your talkers.
Yeah.
It's going once.
Okay, Grace, kick us off. What'd you do?
Oh, Barker Seal, public water pollution.
Water pollution. Awesome.
What are you gonna do with that project, Grace?
I don't know, that was yesterday.
Hey, don't let that board member.
Hey,
know.
That's awesome that you guys got to do that.
What did you do?
I'm a friend.
Oh, your group, okay.
They all agree. So,
Oh,
Ours was a hydroelectricity.
hydroelectricity, okay. Were all 5 of you? Just your 2, okay, ladies.
We did school sanitation.
Did you check our school?
We checked the.
We want to know.
I have pictures.
I told you you'd get me in trouble.
So would you consider us sanitary or?
Some more.
You don't need to answer that.
Leah, what did you do? Oh, you're
So what'd you learn?
We learned that, the sanitation of the middle school can be better than it is right now.
All right. Krista?
I also do, robots fighting. Made the state for that.
So like vital box.
Yeah, it's like it's a circle and then a sumo box, and then they have to try to push each other off the wall.
So do you like build that from scratch? Like you build that or?
Pieces.
Oh,
And you gotta cover it, right, Cash?
You put the control boards and everything in.
Yeah, and then you have to program it.
It's stuff like we like that.
Yes. Well, thank you all for coming.
We need to get a picture for a
Yes.
thing, so either all the board members that can turn around, pick up.
Will you help me?
Yeah.
He said, I'm not.
Could I ask you all?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I didn't make that. I didn't make that.
Come this way, I'll break crap. You got this way right around here. Miss Joe, you'll get everybody. Board members. Can you get them?
Is it?
Yes, students.
You're okay. It's a board meeting.
Smile. And one more.
Can you get all the people, board members? Can you see all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, there's your headshot.
All right.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
You all are welcome to leave unless you'd like to stay. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, goodbye.
You don't have a choice.
Do you have anything on your report?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about different groups that, could have picked, but like our seventh grade girls basketball team won their tournament, and then also I had a middle school student, Claire, Lena, she won an essay contest, so I had multiple kind of different kind of things going on there. Other than that, I just wanted to talk about trying to do some good things for the students, some fun stuff. So of course we had dances this year. We have another one in spring. Dances stress me out, but it's all right. My head's all constantly on the swivel. A lot of our staff's been to some professional development. Mrs. Skidmore just came back from the Infinite Campus. I went to one about getting more students and teachers energized about school in general, just ways to kind of boost morale and just the culture of the building. Mr. Jump, our sixth grade social studies teacher, went to an inquiry-based learning training. We just kind of wrapped up our iReady testing for the winter. We're working on getting that data and looking at it. I just looked at some of it a few minutes ago. Wrapping up the second 9 weeks benchmarks. So staff starting to grade that and put that in our data sheet. So we'll be looking at that. And then right after Christmas, I have iReady coming in to do a PD with the staff about how to better utilize iReady. So kind of what's been going on and what the kind of next step is. So.
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Enjoyable.
Let's move on for public comment. Does anybody have anything?
I have two, I could, go.
Sure. So board member comments?
Yes.
5, okay.
So, just actually two shout outs. One to Miss New for the student engagement night that you had a couple of weeks ago. It was unbelievable. I think everybody there had a great time. The swamp, there were people parked in the grass around the corner. I mean, everywhere. So much engagement. You fed them.
Yes, we use the food service. So food service, Jalen and Bendis worked together and had our Smoking Jack's barbecue with mac and cheese and all the things for families. And we paid for that out of our budget for family engagement. And then taught them what the reports look like for iReady for their students. Based on our recent iReady data, I feel like some of those conversations were valid and parents didn't want to see red on that report. And I think there were some really good, rich conversations between teachers and parents. And I think some accountability. We need parents. We need parents to have conversations with their kids. But we had well over 200 people in attendance that night. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. One of the best we've done.
Yeah.
Thank you for acknowledging it.
The second item I wanted to mention, some of you may remember Dr. Otis French, who was a recent, Clinton says yes, he remembers him, was a recent, or I guess he wasn't that recent, several years ago he was a band director, and he had to leave for family reasons, and he was up in Canton, Ohio. Well, this past Friday, he came down and donated 2 saxophones to the middle school band department. And if I could, he just kind of gave me a little summary. I'd like to just read it to kind of give you a little background. I had not met him. I had talked to him on the phone. He was in the area. We kind of set this up. Mr. Cash was there. Jody was there. The kids were thrilled to see him. I mean, we couldn't even get to the band room for everybody stopping him in the hall. Mr. Coach, Mr. Coach. But anyway, this will just give you a little bit of background. So he writes, after I left GCMS to retire and return to Ohio, I stayed in touch with several of my former middle school band and choir students. Over the past several weeks, I received a note from 2 of my beginning band students from my time at the middle school. I won't name the students, but he had promised them to let them start learning the tenor saxophone since they both had excelled at alto saxophone during my time at Gallatin County. They shared with me that their current teacher had informed them that there was not enough tenor saxophones at the middle school for them to begin learning the new instrument, and asked if I could help to find them instruments. I let them know I would do my best, so I began reaching out to some music stores that I had worked with. None offered any help. So for the next several weeks, I spent time reaching out to anyone I knew in the music field. I came across a gentleman who had come to my music store. He currently works as a band and orchestra road representative for Taylor Band. I found out that he and I had a common friend from our time in the Army music program. His name is David Reed, and he was a saxophone player in the Army. I asked him if he had any saxophones that might be donated to the Gallatin County Middle School for students to use, and he said absolutely. David donated 2 tenor saxophones to be given to the middle school. Both saxophones needed repair, so I asked the owner of my music store, Brad Conair, if he would donate the repairs to the instruments for me to donate to the middle school. He agreed instantly and assigned our repair technician to repair the instruments. Although the instruments needed significant repair, Bruce only charged the store for minimal repairs and further donated his time and expense because he felt it was an important thing to get the instruments into the hands of students. Through the generosity of David Reed donating the instruments, Brad Conair for donating the cost of repairs, Bruce Meck for making the repairs and donating the effort and cost, the 2 saxophones have been donated. So I just wanted to share that because it was just such a fun time, very positive, someone who wanted to come back to the district and give back.
Mhm.
So, that's all.
Very good. Ashley? John?
Just to check on a few things that we've done previously, but, instructional aids, where did you check on to?
We're waiting.
Still working on that?
Yes.
Okay, and same thing with the staff members,
Yes. John, when we do, I was gonna bring it up, when we do, kind of an allocation, end of January, there, go through everything. We should be able to do everything then. They give us a good idea of staffing, moving, that we got,
I think you got it. Except for I just thought it slipped through the cracks.
That's being paid off faster, would that be correct? Mr. Drury?
6 or 8, yes. More because we paid some as positions left. We filled in with Esther, with the ones that we created, about 6 or 8. that's left.
Okay. And, before that money runs out, we can fill from Esther and those positions back into some of the other positions. And yes, we should be able to do it. We should be able to close them back in pay gaps on the 60+ years that he's talking about on that. And it's just, it'll be some pretty good opportunities. All right,
Targets?
reserve.
Same. Moving on to 6, staff school reports. Student board member Trenton?
Alright, so recently our students completed iReady testing and the scores improved from window 1 to window 2, so we're happy to hear that. Due to that improving, we're having a reward day tomorrow. Coyote testing also just finished, which if you don't know what Coyote testing is, it's testing that checks if a student is transition ready after college, or after high school, sorry. The scores for that should be an after break. This week, actually, it was full of activities. We had our talent show yesterday, full of great time. It was great to be in. We had our reindeer games today, which are more class games, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. We have our iReady reward tomorrow, and hopefully that'll kick off the break. And then our academic team is up 5-2, opposed to our 2-5 losses last year. After Christmas break, we'll actually be competing in the Governor's Cup. And that's everything, unless you have any questions.
Thank you.
I believe you're all working on a group with Chuck to looking maybe going down to Frankfurt one day.
He doesn't know about that yet.
I do not.
Yes, you are, just bear with me. Yeah,
It's okay.
Have y'all got the list?
no, Miss Lewis and I didn't get to meet today. The first of the year, we're gonna have a superintendent team task force. Of course, Miss Lewis and I met and we on our board, student rep on it. So we'd like to do some activities, get some feedback from them on things, the way we can improve, how they see things. And one of the activities we want to do is to take that group, we're looking at 12, 13, and we'd like to take them to Frankfurt while they're in their working session. So I think they're a neat activity.
And then when the students go down, if any of the board members are available, come down, you all should come down too. And then we'll give them,
Yeah, just let us know when and where.
it'll be interesting for them to show them exactly how a bill starts, all the way through the changes and things. It's a good lesson, I think.
We hope to get them recognized on the floor and probably go on Tuesday or Thursday. Is that right, Mr. Davis, on the
Yeah.
House and the Senate?
Yeah, that's
When the education committee's meeting, it'll probably be neat actually for them to see the people that make decisions that, affect them. Just you guys. Yeah, you're included, I promise.
Nice. All right, moving on to 2, enrollment attendance report, Mr. David Arden.
So, and I gave you guys a copy of the document that I put together every month and updates. We have one fewer student as of today than the last board meeting. 44 fewer students than a year ago today. Any questions about anything on there?
Yes, sir, can you get me a report? No hurry on it, sometimes after Christmas, showing our ADA. We can skip our COVID here. A running total of what percentage our ADA runs. They run for the past,
Since COVID, so like the last 2 plus this year.
yeah, and if you want to go back prior to COVID, a couple years prior to COVID, we had 4 or 5 years, take COVID out of it because that'll mess the numbers up on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem. Any other questions?
And in the high school, does these count children that's on virtual,
Yes.
these numbers? And how many do we have on virtual?
It's down on the bottom left, 68 currently.
Sorry about that. I was looking for that sheet. I had it from.
Good detail. Okay.
And then just one other thing of note, we have Nurse Beatty and myself did some looking and are bringing in a speaker on January 9th just to talk to the students from 4th grade up. Obviously, it's going to be a little different conversations for 4th and 5th as opposed to middle school and high school, but about the dangers of vaping and everything that goes along with that. It's very drug awareness related. So we'll have 3 presentations on the 9th, and they're going to leave us with some resources for our health teachers to be able to utilize throughout the course of the year. And he will also do a community event in the evening to invite all parents to come in and be able to hear. And once we get the times scheduled for that, then we'll come back after Christmas. Then we'll communicate that out to the community in hopes that people will want to just come attend and listen to what he's got to say.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 363 CIA report, Mr. Tony Jerry.
All right. At the last meeting, we got some already data, so we're gonna look at some. I'm glad that we sort of brought that up. Yeah. Okay. We plan to do this deal. Yeah.
CIA?
So, start out, we'll look at the math. If you look at the math current year, I have it labeled there, the first page. It shows window 1 and window 2. And what you want to see is less red, more green. Okay, window 1, window 2. So we see that pattern throughout the district. You're seeing less red, more green. We're moving students. Okay. Are we moving them fast enough? Not nearly fast enough as we want, but we're moving them. They're showing some gain, and we're gonna look at. If you look at last year's math previous year, you can also have that for your comparison. If you want to see where we were at this time last year, you can do that a couple ways. You can compare kindergarten to kindergarten, or first grade to first grade, or you can look at grade 2 for last year and see how they're doing in grade 3 this year. If you want to look at the same students and see how they're doing. One thing that we did last year is we focused on our growth reports for iReady, and we felt pretty good about how our students were growing. What kind of hit us hard at the end of the year in KSA, and we got our results back, even though the students were growing, they were still in that novice category. We didn't grow them out of novice. And so the next thing we'll look at is the something called a proficiency projection for reading, or for math, or all math. Proficiency projection for reading. So what I did is we'll look at grade 3. It's on that second page. Grade 3. This one right here. We'll just do grade 3 because that's the first one. If you look at that, if they, according to this projection, this is the first year iReady has offered this report. And so we're going to say it's pretty accurate because they have a lot of data building up to this point. And it's pretty congruent with what we see on KSA. So if the students took the KSA just a couple weeks ago when they took this iReady, that first row is what we would perform. 54% novice, 34% finished, 12% proficient. If they took it, you see, we're in January or December of their third grade year. Now, if they grow at a typical growth rate between now and May, you can see that they'll be 27% novice. And right below that, I put last year's KSA novice percentage. So in 2023, our novice percentage is 44%. And so if we show a typical growth between now and May with our students in third grade, we'll see a 27% novice. We're moving them hopefully from novice to proficient. Because at the last board meeting, you guys were asking, how do we know what you're doing now is working? That was a big question, and you wanted to see some iReady data and some other data. So that's what I'm trying to provide. And I see some good things in this data, but I do see some groups of kids, some grades, particular grade levels that aren't showing growth that much at all. And so I'll be talking to principals about that. Another way we can look at this, if you look at the fourth grade showing 41% novice, if we see typical growth, you see that? Their score was the 44% the previous year. That's comparing the same student to that school. So one way to compare is this year's third grade to last year's third grade. The other way to compare is look at this year's fourth grade and look at their score from the previous year and see growth. If that makes sense.
I don't know, here's where it says additional growth. What is additional growth?
Where you see that. No additional growth. Proficiency, no, if they took the test on that day, the KSA, that's what they would score on that day.
I want to apologize again, I didn't like that point.
That's okay. That's good. Hey, I look at data sheets all day long, every day. My eyes get crossed. It's nice to print some out of it and look at it. Looking at a computer all day is really kind of difficult. The other thing, we have the reading. We also have, or we have the math. We also have the reading for you to look at.
And how accurate is this?
compared to what?
Like what, when we do the end of year assessments and stuff. Have you all?
It was pretty close, pretty accurate last year. Yes. We didn't think it was at first. We were kind of surprised that when we got our PSA data back, like, oh my gosh, our rating was way off. That's where we were looking at the growth of individual students, and we were feeling good about them growing, which we should. They're growing, but we didn't grow them out of novice. This is looking at the data that we need to look at to do a proficiency projection. That's what that whole report is.
And as you compile this and stuff, are you giving real-time data feedback back to your principals?
Oh, they get it too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's available to them.
The reason I ask
It doesn't
that,
have to go through me.
at this point, if it's taking this data, you can do target. It's a good tool for them to be able to do target and stuff to say, okay, I'm not picking on no grade level, fifth grade. For some reason, we're way down. We need to target that grade level there to see what's going on.
I believe if you talk to principals, that's exactly what they're doing.
Everybody are shaking their head. If I start shaking my head, maybe then I'll,
We don't have projected proficiency because we're third grade and below, but we'll still be having those same conversations based on the data that we do receive, and I know they do the same thing.
One of the things we're working on too is we have to desegregate because we are a TSI district for students with IEPs, and so we have to be able to pull them out in a way that doesn't compromise their privacy, identifies them in any way. But we have to see that data to see if we're specifically moving that group. Having said that, we'll move into any questions about the data reports. I was going to go through each one, but I think I went through math and you can figure out the reading. Last time we talked about our CDIP, it's on there for approval this time. We did do the process differently. Like I laid out the time before, we met as a district team, had representation from all the buildings and tried to get representation from all the areas like student health and counselors, classified people. We also had an invite for community people to come meet with us, and we had the director of the library. He came to that meeting. We'd like to see more, but he came and he had a lot of good input. So we used his input, and we drafted the improvement plan. I put it on the website. We put a pop-up on the website, so if you pull our website up, it popped it up and said, take a look at it, and there was a survey link if you wanted to give input on the improvement plan. As of today, about 2 o'clock, I looked, nobody gave us input, but that's okay. We're trying to do better. It was available. And nobody contacted me and said, I tried to do the survey and it wouldn't work. I kind of was waiting on that one, but I never got it. So I'm going to assume it worked and nobody did. So that's still on there for public input, and I think I may just leave it up there. I'll take the pop-up down, so that's not activating people, but I'm going to leave it on there for people to do a comment whenever. So, but that's on the agenda for approval tonight, the CDIP. But part of that CDIP, since we're TSI school, and this is our second year in TSI, third year is an automatic state audit, and automatic people come from KDE. So I watched the TSI webinar, and they offer for schools that has this their second year to come do an audit, a friendly audit by invitation. So we jumped on that. We were one of the first schools to jump on it. We had two ladies came last week before, and these two principals have worked really hard because we have to provide evidence of everything we're doing, everything. And they have to put it in folders for the team to review. So that's what they've been doing the last 2 weeks, is collecting that evidence for them to review before they even come to do the audit. They're going to do the audit on January 16th, 17th, and 18th. We'll get the results in February, and then we'll have a team come help us look at those results and help us create a plan on how to implement those. So I say that to say we're doing this, but we're not going to have any kind of motion on it until February, and the kids take the test in May. So we're going to put things in motion. We may not see an immediate impact on KSA. So So even if we do not come out of TSI, we've already started the process. It's the same people that do these audits that will come do the 3-year TSI audits. So when we get those reports back, we'll go in and amend our CDIP and add those things, those priorities that the team suggests that we need. And add those activities, we'll put them in the CDIP for revision to do that. And we're hoping that they give us some good direction and some good advice, because we're trying what we know how to try to do.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I know you don't want to hear that. We know all children don't learn the same.
True, very true.
And children that have problems reading and comprehending, do we have things in place for them to help them?
We do. We try to.
Everybody in this room, we know children ain't just data.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into how a child learns and what they know.
I agree with that 1,000%. And we do help those students learn. But the problem is they all get tested the same way.
Correct. But
And that's where we run into the issue. It doesn't mean if I get a novice in reading or math on the PSA, I might be really good at reading and math. I'm just not good at that kind of. If I go in the shop and I have to put together a project, measure and cut boards and add links together, I can do that.
But my question is, do we have anything in place to help those children? We know that there's, like you said, there's children out there, you give a tape measure, they're phenomenal with their hands. They just don't test well.
Yes, we are helping those children out.
What are we doing though to help those children?
Math manipulatives, we use choice for assignments. We try not to give the same assignment for the class. We try to provide some choice for them to have a choice of what can they do to prove they know what we're trying to teach. In the house,
When I was in school, I hated testing, so I used to try to make a pretty picture of the dots on the page.
yeah, still some of that going on. But we try to hit all those intelligences, and we try to offer choice when we can, instead of writing a 2-page essay on this subject. Let's do a project, and you can get your hands on and prove that you know this. That's what we try to do.
The interventionists, Title I, all those programs are designed to help catch up students.
I know we're looking to getting our scores up, getting everything up and stuff. But we all know, like I said, there's children out there that don't learn the same as other children, and I don't want those children left behind.
I'm glad you got, because when you hear RTI and you hear interventions, that's exactly what we're doing. We're pulling those kids out, giving them one-on-one instruction, small group instruction in a way that's different than what they're receiving in the classroom to help them grow. The last thing, any questions on that? Last thing I have, we're gearing up for access testing. That'll start in January when we get back. That's our ESL kiddos. They take that test to show how well they're doing in learning the English language and performing in an English language school. We're excited about it. Ms. Venegas has helped each kid set their goal. We had a celebration of learning this week with middle and high school students, because we find that they are maybe not as motivated to take that access as the younger ones are. So we just had a little thing for them that says, we appreciate you. We acknowledge how hard you have to work, because you're learning the language and content. And we just, we want you to know we're pulling for you, and we'd appreciate it if you worked hard on this access test. And we'll be talking about your scores with you when they come back. So put a little bit of ownership on that. And then we're also going to do the ACT for sophomores. The high school wanted to do sophomores again this year. That's something the district has to pay for. And then juniors, and we'll do all that on the same window this year, instead of doing sophomores at one time and then juniors another time. We're just going to test them all at the same time. I think it's going to go much smoother doing it that way. And that was the high school's idea. So, any questions? Is this the kind of data you'd like to see?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to superintendent report, Mr. Chuck Cash.
All right, start out with Mr. Level. Thank you for, I think we had the part with the students coming in. I always enjoy, getting to see the students come up. I get a little nervous and then they get up here and loosen up a little bit and they talk more and I like the picture to put on the website. So I do thank them. Last Friday, most of mine's already been discussed. That's handy. Dr. French, that was pretty good. It was really cool to see him. I think he's only been gone 2 years.
Okay.
I think that's correct. 2, no more than 3. But the 8th grade students knew him and they come up and high fived him, and that was just really cool. So that was fun to see him come back and get to experience that. And he immediately wanted to, go to the band room and start playing with them. It was, I'm not musically inclined. I get static on the radio, but it was pretty impressive to watch them do that. Also,
My sister enjoyed it.
yeah, she was in there. Okay.
Yeah, he kind of went in and directed them for like a few songs. And they played that.
It was-
They were really happy. Yeah,
It was pretty cool.
went great on.
Then I was going to talk about the upper elementaries event with Miss New and the turnout and the good food. So that's been discussed. I will say the boys and girls basketball are both in Christmas tournaments. I know those boys and girls are really excited to get to do that. We wish them well. The snowplow, I was a little worried this morning before 4 o'clock. If I had $1 for every time my phone beeped yesterday, wanting to know when the little snow showers would pop up. Are we going home? Are we going to go tomorrow? If we miss tomorrow, we're going to take Wednesday off too. But it does get a little nerve wracking. I know I talked to some of the board members. Miss Shelley gets out, rides around. Sheriff Bud Webster, he always communicates with me. He's got road deputies out. The city, county, don't want to leave anybody out. I passed Mr. Davis out on the road sometimes last year checking snow. Miss Amanda, our board chairman, goes in early. I get the route to Nucor, and that's a hard decision. Everybody makes lightly, and they just want to, let's just take a week off. We can't, but we always safety is our number one concern. But I do appreciate all the help from everybody. But the snowplow, I was really wanting that rascal here Sunday night, but we'll have it when we come back from school. Excited about that. We'll be able to move around snow. We have a plan B also if it gets too much for us. The turf field, one of you, 2 of you has mentioned, it's kind of going to be a dormant project now for a while. The turf is finished. There's one punch list, I think, out. Again, really pleased with their effort and what they did. I'm also very pleased the board was wise enough to say, let's give them a couple soccer, football, to have a couple games at home so the seniors would have that. There's no way they'd have got finished. And they worked hard. I'm not belittling that, but I think all in all it turned out pretty well. As soon as we get 50-degree average, they'll come back and resurface. It takes less than a week. I think there was some confusion. The 30-day window is when they put the blacktop down. That the oils and stuff coming up, it needed 30 days for that process and curing. When they put the top coat on the turf, on the track, I better not put it on the turf. When they put it on the blacktop, in less than a week, our students can run on it. So that's always good. To piggyback off the I-80 and the attendance report, we're really trying hard. My team up here, I can't brag enough on the 4 principals. The I-80 data, we want to present it to the board, give us some feedback. We want to be open and show you what we're doing. We're never going to be satisfied, but our students, we're working at getting the data and try to find out where we're missing things to better educate our students. So we take it very serious, and I promise you, our principals work on stuff daily, looking at things to do to improve. We have 4 really good, strong principals. The attendance, we always, and I would even get confused myself when you're looking at how many I-Lead, how many JCT, ATC, JCTC, virtual, whatever they're doing, and that's why we made the little column on the left. Please give us feedback. We want the board to get the information that you all need to make the decisions, that affect our students and faculty. We want to get you the information you want, so I appreciate. I think we've made gains in both areas. You asked for it. Please just keep giving us feedback, and we'll keep improving. And lastly, I don't know if anybody knows, but tomorrow is the last day for students. And we will start Christmas break. Yes, I'll give you the Christmas off. So I'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. Cash, the tennis courts, we're gonna be ready for surface when they do the track.
It's two different companies and weather is, yes, sir, weather is the deciding factor. They don't have to have 40, but they want it pretty close. To do the surface coat, to repaint our courts, I showed you all the color chart. He wants it in the 50s. But it will not affect them practicing and playing until the blacktop company comes in. And if you walk up to the tennis courts, the right side is where the bad crack is, the ankle breaker. And they will knurl that blacktop up and then come back. They'll use a base coat, top coat. That will be the only court they'll use. They'll still be able to host events, practice, and do all that. And when they paint it, which he said 3-4 days. But the tennis technologies prefer 50 degrees. So it's all weather dependent, sir. But that price is locked. The board approved it. It's golden. We're good.
Anybody got anything else? Okay. Moving on to 5, the SBDM agenda minutes. Do you have a chance to look at those?
So, Ms. Megan, did you hold these on the 13th meeting?
Yes, sir.
So you did?
Did everybody get a chance to look at human resource actions?
When was it on the agenda?
Should be.
They should be good at that.
Your agenda was-
No.
I guess that might be my mistake, because she did something to me.
Yeah, I don't think that's really good money to take all the.
It might be my fault. I mean, I can take blame if we had the meeting, so.
You're the team players. You'll take blame.
Even though we should like to tell y'all it's my fault.
No, it really is.
It might be my fault, so. I'll take the blame
I
yet.
remember you put permissions to it.
Well, what
like
was
an
on the
admin.
agenda? How come I don't know?
Everybody get a chance to look at 7 consent agenda? Are there any questions on that?
Yes. Item 10, technology items for surplus.
Mhm.
Are we offering the students any of these items and things? Any students or stuff that wants these surplus items, are we offering it to them before we, put them out, bid and stuff? Because we could do it under the KRS 135.
As far as I know, I don't think we're offering any of these to any students. We've been working with multiple vendors to just come and we send the list out to them and then they come and they pick them up once they are approved to come pick those up. But as far as I'm aware, I don't think that we're offering it to any students as of right now.
And most of the stuff that gets sent off, and Logan, correct me if I'm wrong, they strip for parts.
Yeah.
They're not
It's not
usable
usable.
products.
Yeah, most of it's not usable.
So it's not like a Chromebook that a student could take home and
Like
use.
the stuff that's end of life and things like.
Yeah, end of life, like cannot be updated, broken beyond repair, stuff that even if anybody
Anything
wanted
that
it,
could be repaired, we're not offering it to students before we do that.
and we don't put anything on it that could be. It's all beyond repair.
Something that the board, I'd like to see, like something that they might get repaired, should be offered to students before it goes. And we can do that,
Yeah, there's a statute that says the board can adopt policy to promulgate the technology items to simply give it to students in need if there's a demand. And so, talk to them if there's a demand, and if there is, laptop that's the end of life, but still usable, you can adopt policy to just give it to students in need, so.
and if y'all wanna look it up, I think it's, KRS 16335, I believe.
Just look, if you got something that's end of life that's still usable.
Okay.
There's interest, we can promulgate a policy to permit that.
Yeah, we'll look into seeing if we have anything that comes up that will
Yes,
be in that. Yeah.
Anything else on the consent? And the motion to approve the consent items?
Also believe.
Do I have a second? John, did you do it? All in favor? Opposed? 5-0. All right, moving on to 8, recommended action, new business. One, review approve second reading of the 2023 KSBA policy procedure updates, number 27. 27 updates, I don't know if we had discussion.
I'm moving to approve.
And this changes none of our other policies and stuff, so
It's just
Just those
that,
ones, that's the ones. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Two, review approve agreement for E-rate services for school year 2024.
I called Mr. Cash about this today because I wasn't sure what E-rate was, but, he enlightened me.
Ms.
So,
McCarty's ready, prepared. If anybody else on the board that, I don't mean to cut you off, Ms.
No, it's
Becky, but she's ready to tell you about it. Go ahead, Ms. McCarty.
It's, we have a contract with, we have two things that go on that are kind of connected but not. It's the CATS money and E-rate, and we contract with a company to provide, the federal forms required to get our E-rate money. And what they do for us allows us to only pay 10% of our equipment. Anything, the switches, I'm throwing out terms here that mean nothing to me. I just know because I pay the invoice. So the switches, the networking, wiring, basic hardware. E-rate is a federal program that gives us money to provide internet services here at the school for our children. So as we participate in that, and this is the third year for this contract, it's $990 for the year. We have a contact lady there who's wonderful. She calls me and tells me when things are due. Most of the time, she doesn't even really need anything from me. But we're, Austin and I are in contact with her, and I think it's money well spent because we got $270,000 to spend over 5 years. We're in year number 4. We still have $91,000 to spend, and of that, we'll only pay $9,000 for all of that stuff. And they pay directly. We just pay our 10%, and that's all we pay. So that's what that is. And I'm staying in
CATS is separate from
the
that.
CATS is separate, that's the state money. And, our first offer for that is $15,000. You need to approve that. I have to show proof from the minutes that you've approved that, because we have to match that money. So,
The, maybe I called on also yesterday, but on the E-rate is separate from CATS. E-rate has forms, I think, 600, 680, different FCC forms. My question was on, when I was wanting to know who we was using, because they just talking to a gentleman down in Kentucky.
Oh.
Actually, it was a document in Tennessee, he's out of Kentucky, 6.8 million, he stole from E-rate for the school.
oh, wow. All right, well, I'll move to approve E-rate.
Do you have a second? Okay, Becky made the motion, Ashley second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. 3, review approved 2024 first pets offer, we just had a discussion on that.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. 4, election of board member officers.
Madam Chair, I so move to keep everything the same for the 24th school year.
24, 25.
Yes, sir.
Discussion. All right, Hargis, seconded by John. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. 5, discussion and action on staffing allocations for 24-25 school year.
Madam Chair, I asked to put that on the agenda. Every year, it seems like the end of the year, we're rushing to get this done. I'd like to get, go over everything, get it, and as we were talking about earlier, at that point in time, we can, look into the pay raises that we're gonna give. And closing the 16+ year gap by the, I think we discussed 5,000 on that. We may close that 5,000, and then looking what we have left over, look at our contingency. By sometime in January, we should know what they're gonna do on ABA and ADM. I have a feeling if we go to ADM, we will get the seat funding that I think they're gonna do.
Mhm.
I don't, well, I'm fine on that, but it'll give us a good chance to take a look at everything and look and say, okay, we got these people that's sitting here on ESSER funds, and we've been paying, okay, where do they fit the picture at? And give everybody a chance to look and say, okay, how do we fit these into the, and, you and I had talked about it a little bit there also. It lets us come out of COVID with that money, what monies we're not gonna have available coming to us. But I think we're gonna be able to achieve a lot of closing of the pay gaps and stuff for our district this coming year and still maintain our contingency.
So are you suggesting a January special meeting just for this?
That was just one of our meetings that
Okay.
we do in January.
Okay.
We got the 2 meetings out.
Right.
Probably the second meeting in January, we should be able to have everything.
Yeah.
ready to go.
In the past, we've always had, like, Hargis has kind of overseen and worked with them on the budget. Do we want to continue that for this year?
The central office typically give us a recommendation of what you already should know.
We kind of left it alone, but we've already started because we don't want to get behind on this. We want to get ahead of it. We want to be our goal, and by the second board meeting, we can do that. And then whatever the board directs us to do and work with whomever and whatever committee we're great with, we will have that by the second board meeting. We are going to take a very strategic approach, break it down by buildings, and that way, it's like what we're trying to do with the attendance. We want to be able to tell you exactly how many teachers, and Coach Jones, I promise there won't be a 0.66 on that. I couldn't handle that. But we want to do that to better understand and make our recommendations. The board ultimately, I understand, I'm not trying to say you don't, but we want to be able to show you, again, give you good data, good numbers, and show you what our staffing is certified and classified now.
So that would work for the second meeting in January. You think we have something
Yes.
that work here?
Yep. And also, John, I'm waiting on a question to be answered out of Frankfurt. I've asked a question. And apparently they act like it's never been asked before, and even they're gonna look into it. Because they said we hadn't thought about that before. They said it would help them when they look at their budget and things, some of the committees down there. My question was, you know, year after year, and that's why I asked for the numbers, and I need the data for them, for most part. But if year after year, we know we're at 93% ADA on our average daily attendance, why, where we got like, I seen on the numbers there, we had one class that was like, what, 100 and something students on there? And there's something else that they're working on down there. I'll talk to y'all about it later, so with you. But these schools always budget staff at 100%. Okay, that's time and money up there that could be being used to get raises and things. If you're, say you got an ADA at 93%, why can't you staff at 95%? That frees you up 5% on this end. And then if you need someone, then add them if you need them. And that's that. There's nothing that says we have to.
We hope they all show up.
Correct, but I'm.
There are days that, you know,
And that's
Mr. Arvin, is there not days where they all show up? We used to have high attendance days.
There's days they all show up.
We miss it in old high school.
Yeah, they all show up on some days.
I think that, I mean, I think it's what KG's looking at, to see, you know, to, I think they're only tweaking their regulations. Because right now, I don't know that you can't, as we sit here right now.
Yeah, nobody's been able to give me an answer on it.
Kind of interesting, but, you know, I don't know, if you go from 100 to 95, does that mean, is there gonna be enough to drop a teacher? You know what I'm saying? It may not be,
About
may not be.
6.
Yeah.
Well,
So it may not be next time.
I got my notes, point six.
And that's why, John, the question has been brought up, hey, can we do this legally? Because you ain't got all the point numbers in there and stuff anymore. By doing that, we can say, okay, we got 101 students at 101.1. And it's.
My history and all that is most of your ADA numbers lag behind anywhere from a month to a year on most of what data you're working off of. I mean, we make a fair assessment when we make our allocations, but there's no guarantee what your attendance or what your enrollment should be in August, and sometimes it has wild fluctuations on that.
Yeah. they got a thing in there too, they use Johnny, projected 10-year growth or 10-year decline and stuff, and it's pretty neat. And it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, but it's not something you can do right now.
No.
Yeah.
That's
So we
just
try to
something-
table this on the second meeting in January.
Yeah,
And make a discussion.
yeah, so it gets time to get all these data. Get it, they get the time to get it done.
So we don't want to table it, right? It was just a discussion?
Yes.
We need to-
Yeah, just discuss.
Okay. Alright, moving on to 6, discussion action 2024 board meeting calendar dates and times. So I think we had talked about this briefly, and we were talking about the first week, which I don't know if we want to start our first meeting. That's it, right?
First and third Tuesday.
Yeah, we were keeping the regular on third and the first, but we need to decide, do we want these both to be action meetings or working meeting, action meeting? My understanding, and I'll just tell you how I feel, we can, whatever the board decides. I thought we were doing like 2 actions so that we could catch every deadline, so that no one would ever miss a deadline and we would have to have it. But I thought we were having like discussion on what was gonna come from the regular business meeting. If we needed to talk about it, but if there was something on there we needed to have action, we would.
We could do,
But whatever
use the
the
one
board
for cleanup,
decides.
do our regular meeting and then use the next one for cleanup.
That's what I would like to do. I would like to do old business, new business, old business, new business, because I
And
feel
don't
like
see why we would have to have,
things fall off and we don't ever bring them back up.
like, all these reports and stuff. If we do that, we
Yeah, I
have to have all the reports back.
I'm sorry.
Is that required? I'm asking you, you've done this long. Is all these reports really required on every agenda?
Like, so like,
No.
the first meeting, we don't have to have,
It's just to inform us.
So we could just do, keep it regular, but just call it a working session.
Well, you wouldn't call it work session, you call it a regular and just have old business, new business, and you put discussion items on there. But if you call it working, that's when you don't take action. But if you don't take action on those, you can have 2 regular meetings, just with the understanding that the superintendent put all your work on the second one.
Knowing this, I don't wanna have to call special meetings in between.
I just want to be able, like, if we know, like, example, there's things coming up in January and it's the regular business meeting, but we're gonna have lots of discussion, we need to make sure we have room in February if we need to table it to the February. Follow me?
Yeah, I mean, if you make it a working session and you wanted to take action, you'd have to convert that to a special meeting. So you're wanting to have 2 regular meetings where you can take action on either one if you needed to.
It's whatever the board decides, but that's what I was under the understanding of doing. That way we didn't miss deadlines, if there was field trips that needed, that fell through the cracks or whatever. But
And that would
again,
be-
whatever the board decides on the table.
That would reduce special.
Yes,
That
there
be
should
a way to
really not
call
ever
special
be.
meetings at that time.
Well, my vision, it was a little different, but I'm open. So my vision was a working session and a business section. And the working session, we would have a lot of discussion about things that we, sometimes feel rushed. Student scores and like the information that Mr. Drury shared. And we get deeper into the school data and things like that. But, I'm
But we could
open.
still have that, right?
If we,
I mean,
if we separate into 2, I think you should be able to do it at both of them, right? You could take whatever needs to be discussed and put it on one, and then whatever. If you separate it into 2, it's not gonna be as long. So we still should be able to have discussions. Should we
do
not?
one back, like you said, just call it,
So like the first
just
meeting.
have a meeting,
we could have that
all
on
the
the
information and
agenda.
data.
It's gonna be a long
That's what
talk
we-
meeting.
all the
Student
things we have
scores,
on that
so
agenda.
that agenda line.
But
Right,
if something
that's what
come
I'm
up
saying,
in
yes.
between, we can throw it on there for
But
board
there's a
approval.
field trip that needs to be
There's no tie our hands where we have, if we've
Right.
done that, we would have to come back a week later to a special meeting before the next board meeting to approve something that was forgotten or, it don't matter to me.
Can we do working? I'm sorry, I don't have a vote, but can we do working on the first, and then if something happens, with 24-hour notice, can we not call it a special meeting?
Yeah, you can, but
You're
then you have
still
to have a
meeting.
special meeting. I mean, then it would be a special meeting. So what Becky's describing is what most districts do. So the senior surround district, they have a meeting, or they discuss everything. But what I understood, the chair's idea, which it's got some merit, is still treat it like a working session. But if it's a regular, you've got the ability to approve them, because frankly, sometimes we do have lots of special meetings. It seems like.
Or things get
And
missed
so
and.
if you've made it an actual work meeting, you could treat it like like a discussion meeting. But if you needed to approve something, instead of having to have a special meeting 2 or 3 times a month, you can take action on it. Whereas like some of your surrounding districts, if they want to take action, they have to convert the thing to a special meeting, have a special meeting, and you have 24-hour notice and all of that. I understood that she was thinking of hybrids, which
Mhm.
may have some merit.
Exactly.
We just need to keep the understanding that 99% of the time, we don't want to be taking action on at this meeting. It is supposed to be a discussion session, like you're describing, like those people do.
Okay.
But we've got the ability to do it if we need to. And that should reduce on the special meeting, should save a little bit of money to have a special meeting. So maybe a good hybrid, hopefully.
So we can try it and then we can revisit if it's not working out, but it'll lighten both agendas too, and we're not here for 3 hours.
Yeah. So I think we do have, like, the January meeting, the regular meeting is already scheduled, because we scheduled that.
I have it as
last
116.
year. Yeah, the 16th.
Do the January third Tuesday.
Yeah, we already have that one scheduled, 1/16/2024.
And then start the,
February, start.
Start in February.
Yep.
Like you said, it would be the first Tuesday and then the third.
Both at 6 o'clock.
So that's what I wanted to discuss. I mean, is it feasible to maybe the first one, if that's gonna be more of a discussion, I'd like to see it a lot earlier. So if we are here for ample time, I mean, but again, it's whatever the board wants to do, but
you all just give me a time, date, and place, and I will be there. Hopefully, good order.
Well, I'd have trouble getting here on Tuesday from Cincinnati any earlier than 5.
I'll take
Five
five,
is
be six. Well,
are you talking about just the first one? Just the first one. The second one will remain at 6 because it's gonna be the regular, more business, I should say.
Like you're gonna rush this.
Well, no, well, you know, traffic, there's always traffic. I can make it in an hour.
So 5 o'clock. These are most of the places.
Yeah, let's make sure. Do I have a motion to approve? Hello?
The
I'm going up right.
Yes, for the, what we just talked about. You make the motion then? Do I have a second? Yeah. Ashley? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0.
So just to reiterate, first Tuesday of the month, 5 o'clock working session, but it's a regular business meeting. Third Tuesday, 6 o'clock regular business meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll need to get that scheduled and on the website.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. We're not meeting with this, correct?
No.
We're just doing the one meeting and that.
Start in February.
16.
Gotcha. I'm
Yeah.
just want to double check. I'm sorry. It'll be Miss Joey's fault.
So what we discussed earlier, Hardest, is that gonna be
No,
put into February now?
no, that'd be January.
It'll be in January.
It'll just be January
The
16th.
budget, I think, would be in January too, don't we, Sam?
The draft budget,
Okay.
I mean, it ain't worth the paper it's written on, but the state said we have to have it in.
but it'll be ready, if, like he says, it's going in there, printing something out of Munis, and that's just our starting point that we have to submit for the year, for next year.
Perfect. 7, review approved proposal for Crawford Baxter, BSC for legal representation for 2024 calendar year.
We had no raise this year.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was gonna ask, I couldn't remember,
There's no raise.
with no raise.
No raise. Same raise last year.
I'll make a motion, we don't do more.
As long as he keeps sending Christmas cards, okay.
Right?
You think Rick will.
Was that a
John, is
motion,
that a
John?
motion?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 8, review approved for school year 24 draft comprehensive district improvement plan.
That's
See
the
that?
move.
Second.
Candace, Becky, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. 9, review, discuss geothermal tax credit proposal.
I'm just gonna say.
Who wants to take lead? Guys?
What that is, it's not a grant or anything like that. When we done we got some money back from, Tug Utilities, LGE, or we was eligible through them. What this is, at the time, they wasn't offering it to nonprofits. Even though we're considered taxing, we're actually considered a nonprofit. They weren't considered nonprofits. They had now opened it up to nonprofits. When they opened it up, the information was sent from Tran to Crow, or National County Firm, they do Nucor Steel and things. The Crow looked at it, looked at everything we've done here and said, under the old, Inflation Reduction Act, under some of that money through the Inflation Reduction Act, once they opened that up to nonprofits and, JT looked at it also, that made us eligible for a minimum of $600,000 back to us under the projects that we're doing. And it could be more than that, but they're saying the minimum is gonna be 600,000. In order to hire Crow to do it for us is 25,000. My understanding, that money's not due up front. They'll bill us sometimes once they get started. But everything they have looked at that we've done here at the school, and it's not stuff that we have to do, it's not stuff that money's locked into. We can use that money for whatever we want. It's I don't want to call it, it's not really, it's, money's available through the Inflation Reduction Act. And we would probably be one of the first school districts that I know of in the state of Kentucky to use it.
So my little caveat is, I've not talked to Crow. I thought they'd be here tonight, but I saw this on the agenda. I was like, what is this? So I called several people and dug into it. It is permissible. It is a tax credit. You know, the federal government was giving tax credits to a lot of people trying to incentivize clean energy, green. Well, school districts weren't eligible for it because we don't pay income tax. I mean, we just weren't eligible. But the IRS has tweaked it, and that's what has changed. They did tweak it, and the program's called the elected pay program. Probably no way to really sure about that. But school district can be eligible for it. And so, proposal again, I haven't talked to them, but the proposal that was passed was, you know, 25,000. They don't do all the time and get everything together, and that's been to 600,000. Once I did research, seemed logical. My only heartburn initially was that when we did the train deal, train got a tax credit out of that. So I had a concern, is this, you know, we both can't apply for the same tax credit because then we weren't eligible, the district wasn't eligible for it. And now that we are, we apply for the same tax credit. We are not. It's a little goofy, but this is what they call Section 48 investment credit, and trains was 179D tax credits. There are two different tax credits. So it doesn't affect trains, and Mr. Casey's train is aware of this, and they work copied on some of this, so this thing would be okay with it, but it is a separate tax credit. So I'm not talking with Pro personally, but I mean, it appears to be, from a legal point of view, legitimate. I mean, you can kind of keep it down 25,000. I don't know. Pro is a regular company, but that's, you know, proposal was attached. You know, I haven't talked to them, but from a legal point of view, it checks out.
We're risking 25 with the potential to gain 600.
That's right. And I'm
Make
thinking
a
that's,
motion to do it.
I'm thinking that's some school buses in our future. Very good. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. John moved, second by Hargis, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
If
5-0.
the school don't want to do it, if you all will approve, I'll put the 25,000.
We're good. It's done. It's done.
I don't mind.
There's no conflict of interest there.
No.
Yeah. All right.
If you all don't want it, you just let me know.
10, enter into executive session for superintendent evaluation
You gotta read the numbers.
in accordance with KRS 61.81